Hello, audience. We are launching into season 2 today. And, that got me wondering about how all of you might be consuming this show. Are you sitting around the living room with a glass of wine? Or perhaps you mellow out with us after you've put some kids to bed? There are several people who've told me they like us for the commute to work, maybe also from work, or maybe you find that we're the perfect companion for a stroll around the neighborhood. Maybe we replace the music on your Peloton ride because that Olivia Amato is lovely, but she's just a little too intense. In the end, it really doesn't matter to us how you take us in. We're just thrilled you're joining us as we make the turn to round 2 of the Back Nine.
This is the Back Nine with Dennis Williams and Josh Mora.
Dennis, my man, here we are, round 2,
yes.
Which is season 2 for all of you who are joining us for the first time.
Yes, and I will tell you, what does matter to me about how you do this is you have to download it. One of the metrics for podcasting is download. So
listening
don't
good. Listening is good.
Listening is great, but download and listen. Don't just stream it. So that's the key. And also, follow us so they automatically download, so you never miss an episode. So those kinds of things are factors.
Yeah, you can set on almost all the platforms, maybe all the platforms. You can set to automatically download, so it comes right to you every Tuesday.
Can I just say how much I'm looking forward to this next season? And this has exceeded my wildest dreams. I mean, you and I really thought this would be fun to do. We had some aspirations, but at the end of the day, this was about two longtime friends who have known each other for 30 plus years, getting together to try to help people because we had been through some stuff and wanted to be able to share our stories and really also introduce some great stories from friends, colleagues, people we've known over the years to help people on the back nine of life. And I think we accomplished a lot in the first season with doing that.
Yeah, it's funny because when we started, we were living on opposite coasts,
right?
And now we're still a couple hours apart, and we make this work, but we're at least in the same state, and it's not too bad a trip to get together. But yes, from an objectives standpoint, to me. You talked that we've exceeded our wildest dreams. My dreams have only gotten wilder.
I know. Well,
more
now,
wild because
now our dreams are going through the roof
for sure. And part of it has been connecting to those people. So our guests in season 1, and if you're just joining us for the first time in season 2, please go back and listen to them because they were fabulous in a variety of different ways. But we approached it. We wanted to talk to people that we knew, to really help us understand kind of the entire spectrum of this lay of the land, of where people are as we make the turn into the back nine, and get some different stories, but with people with whom we were comfortable. The idea is that you as an audience member are listening into a conversation that might occur after a round of golf. That's why the back nine metaphor, the golf metaphor, is so appropriate. And so those are the kinds of things that you might peek in on. It might be a couple of guys saying, hey, what songs helped you through a great breakup, right? Which we just did as we wrapped season 1 on the 19th hole. Or, what is your take on how you made this transition from being in the corporate world to being more of an entrepreneur, or how you dated after divorce when you were first out there? What were kind of the emotions that you went through? And those are things that guys really talk about after when we've been together for several hours.
Or becoming a parent in your late 40s or early 50s, right, for the first time. That was a big theme with a lot of people who'd focused on careers early, which is way different than what we had. We juggled careers and kids at a very young age. I just think that the season was really profound, and one of the things that really hit me was those connections, those deep connections that we were able to reestablish, and I think we get to do that again in season 2. We've already started, we record these, and we've already started, bringing on guests for season 2 and thinking about what that's going to look like, and I'm just looking forward to it. I think we said this one in one episode too. If each episode just helps a couple people, they hear it and it gives them a little inspiration, and it's not going to come from us; it's going to come from our guests 90% of the time. But we're hoping that you get a little lift, because you and I lifted each other up in really dark times with these conversations, with these deep conversations. We helped each other through like really, really, really tough times, and that's sort of where this whole show came from. And I will say one more thing, Josh. One of the things that I'm enjoying the most about this is we had put our broadcast careers on hold. Basically, we retired, right? I retired in 2008. You retired in 2010, right? Yep. Basically from broadcast. We have very, very rich broadcast TV histories between us. Both of us almost 20 years in the business. So I say that because this has reinvigorated me to realize, we've interviewed thousands of people in our careers, and to be able to do that again is, I was rusty, and I was like having to get some reps in, and we're getting more reps in, and I'm feeling like, yeah, this is good. We're hitting our stride. We really are, decent interviewers, and that's what I think people can, if they go back and listen, they'll see even our progression in season 1 of dusting the rust off, if you will, and moving forward. And I think season 2 is going to be a growth from there for ourselves in terms of how we deliver the content, because we're getting our mojo back. I really do feel that. We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
The Back Nine podcast is brought to you in part by Three Bridges Consulting. And look, I'm sitting across from one of the founders. At their core, Three Bridges are storytellers. They bring your brand to life with high-quality video and rich still photography, and they can help elevate your brand by finding the right distribution channels for the content they produce. So visit threebridgesconsulting.co. That's the number 3, bridgesconsulting.co for more.
The Back Nine podcast is brought to you in part by Che Brands, adult beverage products that offer healthy options for your social life, including zero sugar, low carb, low calorie flavored vodka, and ready-to-drink cocktails, coconut mojito, lemon drop martini, zero caffeine vanilla espresso martini. They are all amazing. Visit chayspirits.com for more. That's CHAY spirits.com.
Now back to the guys.
Yeah, well, from the beginning, too, I always felt like, and I know you felt this way, too, that, what we do is we conduct the space that allows our guest to be the star and allow that kind of in this case, insight, influence. They're not necessarily trained experts, although we have a couple. But they offer insights. Right? I mean, the point of the whole enterprise here was to help people at home feel like when you're going through dark times, it's real easy to feel like you're alone in those dark times. And the truth is, everybody has gone through them. And if you can tap into that resource, you can get through them. You can find nuggets to hold on to and grasp onto to build your way back out of whatever it might be. And so, to have those touchstones starting in season 1 with people who have been touchstones in our lives. And as we now move into season 2, we're expanding that. There are some people that we really know, but maybe don't know as well, but they've made their name. They may be some, we know of some celebrities who are real celebrities. I mean, people who have accomplished a lot in stage and screen and athletics and so on. And we're also in season 2 going to be a little bit more intentional about our topics, right? So there are going to be some episodes that we are really going into the interview, into the conversation, wanting to focus on topic X or topic Y.
Yeah, and I will say this too. One of the things that gets you through, and we try to weave this in, I mean, it's not all, if you go back and listen to season 1, there are some very, very light moments. I sometimes think that people see the show, see what we're talking about, and they're like, wow, that's kind of dark and deep and everything else. And I think Janine, our producer, would tell you that, we have some very, very light moments in here. Sure. And we have some really, really funny people. Particularly Eric in season 1 with dating after divorce. There are some really, really funny moments in that show and other shows along the way. So we do, because one of the most therapeutic things for me in my life is humor. I love stand-up comedy. Yeah. I love stand-up comedy. I can't get enough stand-up comedy. I like to be around funny people. I could, my fiance and I laugh all the time, like daily, belly laughing a lot of times. So,
by the way,
it's one of those things
worth
really
pointing
helpful.
out that during season 1, you got engaged.
Yes.
Right. In the middle of season 1.
Yeah. That's probably the highlight.
Right. Talk about joy and happiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And again, I had many stories we talked about on the 19th hole. I had many stories of things from the show that I pulled out and incorporated in my life now
1,000%
that have made a difference in my life. And this show is doing a lot for me personally and my personal growth, because I'm getting a lot from people, a book to read here, or a way to think about things a little differently than I was on the back nine.
A website to follow, or a personality to follow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another podcast to listen to, or things like that. It's just been great. And I'm really, again, this is about previewing the next season. And I think this next season, this next 9 holes, if you will, is going to be really fun.
I agree. And, you're right to point out, I mean, one of the most important hallmarks as you're working your way out of something that's troubling is to be able to tap into humor again, and to tap into joy and laughter. And in season 2, we not only have funny people, and Eric's funny, we have professionally funny people that are already booked. I mean, people who make a living being funny. Just leave it there, right? We don't want to give away too much, but I can tell you that on hole 10, episode 10 of round 2, we have somebody who is well known for being professionally funny, and I can't wait to share that with our audience.
Yeah, we've known him a long time, like sort of in the background. He's been connected to us since you and I basically first met. So it's exceptional that we were able to land him, and it's funny and it's interesting, and it'll be a great show.
Yeah, we're looking to. I'm excited to share different perspectives, different topics, and really continuing to expand on the notion of what it's like to be at this stage of life, this important time. When you really have the opportunity to make some unbelievably great things happen on the back nine.
Yeah, and I just want to, how about a couple of thank yous as we go into the season?
Yes.
How about Janine, our producer? She's been outstanding. Like, we were trying to piece this thing together, and we didn't know how to do it because we weren't very good on Zoom. We really needed the studio to be in. So those of you who don't know, we are always together in a studio doing this podcast, and it's made all the difference in the world. And we're old school broadcasters. We had to be sitting across from each other. I tell people that all the time. And Janine's made that happen in her beautiful Stella Mix studios here in Delray Beach. So we're so grateful for that. If you're thinking of doing a podcast, man, call her up, because she's just exceptional.
And I think I'd like to thank our audience too.
Yeah.
I mean, the support that we've had from friends and family.
Oh my gosh.
People who have listened and shared and offered feedback. Some of which we've actually listened to. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. No, but we've listened to all of it. And we're just so grateful for all of that support. And people who've said, hey, guys, you're really onto something here. And I enjoy listening to your takes and your guests' takes on being in this time of life.
It's great. I think we're ready to make the turn and hit the back nine.
Yes, and on the 10th hole, we're going to laugh quite a bit. So join us for episode 10 coming next week, as we launch and tee off on round 2 of the Back Nine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Back Nine podcast. Please like, follow, and share, and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, or your preferred platform.
The Back Nine is fully baked with hugs and kisses by Stella Mix Productions and recorded at Pixelworks Studios in Delray Beach, Florida.